All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to welcome everyone here to the States of Synth. My name is Dennis G.
And I'm Neon Fox.
Neon Fox, my homeboy from Florida. What's going on, my friend?
Nothing much. I'm finally back from Florida. I think everybody else left. I was stuck there.
You had quite the vacation, man. You put in some mad sun hours.
Just got back to Toronto today.
That is incredible.
And now I have to adjust to this overcast, cold, wet weather.
It's not like Florida. I'm telling you, we had some really nice nights and days in Florida. Neon Retrofest is absolutely the real deal. If you guys ever get a chance to go to the next one, I hope that they're having the next one.
That feels like a dream already.
It does. It's like a big fever dream.
Yep.
But
it was awesome.
I'm very excited. We have a lot of great music. We have a wonderful guest here tonight. I am ready to go. I gave my dog her pork chomp. I oiled my chair because I had a squeaky chair. You know how the squeaky chair thing is, right, Jules?
I don't know what you're talking about.
And I was like hoping that I had some WD-40. So I went in my cabinet and I was looking for WD-40. I couldn't find any, Jules, so I didn't know what to do. At one point, I was really seriously considering putting Raid on, because did you ever need a substance? You're like, I need this one product, and then you're like looking at something else, so it's in a spray bottle and it kind of looks similar, and maybe that might work.
Doesn't Raid get sticky?
Well, no. Haven't you ever sprayed Raid on let's say a laminate floor, and it gets slippery? It gets a little slippery, and you start sliding all over the place.
I've sprayed WD-40 on a bug.
There you go.
I didn't expect to make the bug any more lubricated.
The bug starts moving twice as fast, and
stop squeaking.
It's kind of a concept that I think it's a thing. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way my brain works. I'm like a squirt bottle, spray bottle, Raid, WD-40. It all smells the same. It all works the same. I'm sure it's got the same chemicals in there, and worst case scenario, I'm going to keep ants from climbing my chair and into my butt, I guess. I don't really know.
By the way, if anybody's tuned in, if you're tuning to our YouTube stream or our nightride.fm stream, say hi in the chats, because we love shouting out names.
Indeed.
I think we should throw out some names right now.
Oh my God, let's do it.
Let's do it. Wow, we've got our buddy Howells on YouTube.
Hey, very nice.
Tuned in. We've got Egg Shen in the IRC. Shaking the pillars of heaven, along with Lord Tuts. We got to meet him in person, finally.
We did. Yes.
Yeah.
So many.
And of course, Rex Balls is here.
Rex Balls.
The Great Arcade, which I'm so glad they went and created a Bandcamp page, because they got this wicked single with some wicked guitar work on it out.
Oh, that's right. We got a song from him we're going to be playing a little bit.
Sweet. And of course, Dark Ludus has joined us in the IRC chats. And Blobs over on YouTube.
Hey, Blobs, what's going on, my friend?
Yeah. So say hi in the chats. We'll
very
your name out.
I'm very excited. I think we're going to go ahead and play a song. Let's play a track, and then after this, we're going to get into our top story. After our top story, we get to talk to our wonderful guest. I'm super stoked to talk with Sunglasses Kid. It's been just forever that I've been just dying to have him on the show. I'm very excited. But what do we have lined up to go first, Mr.
Well, Droid Bishop has got a collab with none other than New Arcades. So we're talking about Droid Bishop's from California, New Arcades from England. I think they're you know what? I'll get Sunglasses Kid to correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe New Arcades, one of the guys is up from the Midlands in England.
Well, very good. I think that's exciting, and I can't wait to hear this song. I haven't heard this song yet, but I know anything that comes out from these guys has got to be just bangers. I mean, they have...
And if there's Droid Bishop involved, there's going to be all kinds of arpeggiated stuff going on.
I'm going to be on a yacht. I'm going to be laying in a hammock and drinking, a little pina colada or something. I'm having that feeling that I need to be there, man. I need to be there.
Well, let's play it. This is New Arcades and Droid Bishop with Severed, right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was New Arcades and Droid Bishop with a little tune called Severed. I dig that. I dig that song, Jules. I think it's amazing. And I tell you what, we're going to go on into our top story of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen, top story. It is all about LoFi Girl. LoFi Girl launches a new synthwave channel on YouTube. And I tell you what, man, LoFi, LoFi Girl, the popular LoFi Girl channel.
So you know what? I never heard a thing about it until this article popped up.
And then 500 other articles popped.
Yeah.
Like by every single news media outlet. I wish Night Ride FM could get that kind of press. But anyway, I digress. LoFi Girl, the popular synthwave news channel, whatever you want to call them, they are known for their chilled out beats and lo-fi music streams. They've announced that they have a new synthwave channel. I already said that. I can't read on the platform. Yes, so I'm still in Florida, Jules. I'm still in Florida. I tell you what,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, we do have a news story on this. It is absolutely legit. Every single word is believable. We have our very special roving reporter, Lonnie Crane, to tell us all about LoFi Girl's new channel that is happened to be synthwave. So, Lonnie, take it away.
What's going on, Synth Fam? This is Lonnie Crane. In a bizarre turn of events, LoFi Girl has announced the addition of a new synthwave channel to her already extensive playlist, and the reason behind it is sure to raise some eyebrows. According to sources close to LoFi Girl, the decision to add the synthwave channel came after a failed attempt to launch a late-night Skinamax porn music channel. Apparently, the idea was to create a channel that would provide the perfect soundtrack to some of the network's more adult content. However, the Skinamax channel failed to take off, with many viewers reportedly finding the music too distracting from the main event. Undeterred, LoFi Girl's team decided to repurpose the music and use it for their new synthwave channel instead. While the new channel is a far cry from its X-rated roots, it still provides listeners with a sultry and atmospheric soundtrack that's perfect for setting the mood. LoFi Girl's team hopes that the new channel will attract a whole new audience, even if it's not the one they initially intended. When asked about the strange twist, LoFi Girl's team released a statement saying that they were always looking for new and innovative ways to bring their unique brand of background beats to the masses. Sometimes you have to get a little creative. And if that means repurposing some porn music, then so be it. Reporting for Night Ride FM, this was Lonnie Crane. Dennis, back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Lonnie Crane.
That was so believable.
Every word of that is absolutely
yep.
believable. Thank you very much, Lonnie Crane, for this story on that. I tell you what, let's go into our next song, and after that, let's bring on our guest. What do you think? Just kind of cut straight to the chase.
Quick round of shout-outs to people who have joined us
very nice.
In the chats. We've got Jeff Creature.
Hey, my
up
man.
In the IRC, and we've got Nick Kit.
Nick Kit.
Yep.
Is that Nick and Kit?
No, I don't know. Nick Kit.
It's kind of like I guess that's a new face. New faces. This is amazing. People.
We've also got the Guillotine over in the YouTube chats.
Hey, Guillotine.
And our buddy Dysterian has joined us. And of course, our Overlord Z, the one who coded up the nightride.fm website in his sleep. And all the other channels. How many channels are we up to now?
Not as many as LoFi Girl. Although they only have 2, but I feel like they have like 25.
We got like 25 or 26.
Yeah, like.
Oh, and of course, Karen Zoe Lee has joined us in the chats. I gotta thank her and you and her for helping prep the show today.
We don't do nothing. We don't do nothing. We don't prep for this show. What are you talking about?
No, this is all. Yeah, it's all off the cuff.
Yeah, we do it live.
And of course, Nightify has joined us as well.
Hey, Nightify, very good.
Oh wait, Lord Pigger. Okay, you know what?
We'll get Lord Pigger. Oh my God.
We'll get around to the rest.
We gotta have Lord Pigger on one of these days. Lord Pigger, we gotta do it, man. I'm just me and Hannah. We got to get together. Have Lord Pigger on. It is long overdue. So thank you so much for listening to the show. And yeah, let's go ahead. Let's dive into a track here, Mr. Neon Fox. I know we have.
All right.
I know this one.
So I heard this track on Colin's show. What was it, last week?
Yes.
It is awesome. So of course, this is the producer, The Great Arcade, with a track called War Games featuring Yuani. I believe I said that right.
Yeah, it sounds good.
This came out of left field. I had to beg him to like create a Bandcamp page so I could get this, and I need the MP3. God damn it! So here it is. This is The Great Arcade with War Games featuring Yuani, right here on Night Ride FM.
And once again, that was War Games with the Great Arcade featuring Wani? Did we say Wani?
I'm going to say Wani. I'm going to say the J is silent.
Joanna?
Yeah.
Don't you wanna? In fact, just a quick aside.
Okay, did you hear that guitar in that?
Yeah, I did.
Good freaking Lord.
It's good. It's good stuff. I was about to talk about the time I bought marijuana for my dog, but it's not really marijuana. Here's the thing. It's called Dog Joanna or something like that, and it's basically catnip. You can buy it at the pet store, and even though like marijuana is like legal in Jersey, I think that it is literally just like catnip that they just rebranded for dogs, which I don't even know if dogs have the same reaction to catnip.
I think they do, but hey.
But it's called Dog Joanna or something like that. It's like the most ridiculous, and they make it look like they make it look just like weed, you know, like when you buy like a little dime bag or whatever, and then what I do is I take a piece of American cheese and I take a little bit of, you know, just take a little pinch and I just dip it into the American cheese and I roll up the American cheese like it's a joint, and then I just give it to my dog and she loves it and she doesn't bother me for a couple hours, and it's a wonderful thing, Jules. Keep your dogs stoned. That's the key to dogs that don't bark during live shows. So hey, I tell you what, man, I am so super stoked. It has been forever. I know we had him scheduled, and we had to reschedule, and then we are here in the moment. We got him now. This is right now, ladies and gentlemen. It is my great pleasure to introduce to you the Mr. Sunglasses Kid.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on,
Kid?
man?
Thanks for having me.
Could we call you Ed, or does Mr. Kid
Ed,
work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't call me Sunglasses Kid for the duration. It'd be entirely too awkward.
Because I know Jules was actually every time he would refer, it would always be the kid. I talked to the kid. I'm like, oh, that's a little weird.
Well, now you're going to have to be very specific about which kid you're talking
Yeah,
about.
I know, right?
Right.
Is it Dream Kid? Is it Ferrari Kid? Is it Sunglasses Kid? Is it?
There's a lot of kids in synthwave.
I'd like to think I was there first.
Well,
I think you were.
Yes,
I think you definitely were.
How many Midnights are there? There's Midnight Fury. There's Midnight Hi-Fi.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that your new segment, synthwave name bingo?
Synthwave name. See, you're not even on the show in for 30 seconds. You're already coming up with better ideas than we. Oh my God, we actually did. What did we do? We did a bingo before, but what was it? It was just random words. I think that what they would do is we have a Patreon, patreon.com/NightRideFM. And then all our Patreons, what they did was they just came up with these crazy words, like phrases and words. And then we just put them all into like a bingo thing. And we basically just had a contest to see who we can work in and what we can work into the bingo thing. And then people played at home. We made up boards and everything like that. It was fun. We did it for like a season finale, which was.
I like to play like a sort of another kind of version of bingo if I'm going into like a synthwave event or a gig or something, which is kind of outfit bingo. So we were like, you have to do a shot if you see a Kavinsky jacket or
the gunship
jacket, or the Drive Scorpion jacket, or a pair of those sunglasses with the lights on. There's like the 10 outfits you're going to see.
That's absolutely it. So
you're going to see me with my NRW Mizucat jacket.
Yeah, and you have the gun. You wear that gunship hat. I swear, gunship ought to be paying you.
I sleep with that gunship hat.
They
Ed, I wear that gunship hat 24/7 and gunship shirts and stuff in the hopes that one day they'll actually reply to Dennis and I when we ask them for an interview.
I just want them to talk to me one time,
please.
But they don't know you're wearing it.
They don't. Well, although
you start all your emails with, "Hey Dan,
yes.
I'm wearing a gunship T-shirt
yes.
right
Mr. Hey.
now. Please, will you talk to me?" And that's a very surefire way to sound mental.
Yeah, I mean we're not far from the mental part, but yeah, it's nice, I guess, supporting artists and stuff like that, and also we do get a lot of the my new thing is, actually it's not a new thing, it's an old thing. I wanted to bring in neon cowboy hats into like the fold and make that be like the new trend. So I started to court, in a way, neoncowboys.com, and they, of course, they won't talk to me either. But their hats are dope. They're like neon
Dennis was
green.
hoping to get a sponsorship from Neon Cowboys.
I'm telling you,
Neon Cowboy sounds like a male strip group.
it actually is.
Is it
It's
really?
not. Well, it's not far from it, but I like. Let's just say when I look at the website, it's very geared towards. I don't know, maybe not, because they had like
Chippendales.
They have like Chippendales, and it's like a very, like
That's
a very
their clientele.
yeah, just kind of carefree and wild and crazy, and just But I dig that. I dig the hats, and they're expensive. They're like $100, like starting at $100. So they're definitely out of my price range because I won't spend more than $35 for a hat. But
this is a neon cowboy hat.
But this is a neon cowboy hat.
Right?
This thing glows in the dark. You can have any color you want. I mean, well, really, how many colors are there in synthwave? There's like purple and green.
There's magenta, purple, and pink.
Yeah, I mean, that's all the colors.
Tonight's episode of Night Ride FM is sponsored by Neon Cowboy Hats and Raid.
Neoncowboys.com. You can go there and
And
get your
Raid.
cowboy hat. So anyway, they keep turning me down. We're actually trying to get this guy to bring on some soap. So we're trying to sell synthwave soap, and I think it'll go over because honestly,
If you made it pink and you had synthwave in the Fight Club font, that might just work.
yes, you
But
see where
I
I'm
feel
going.
like you're doing some sort of subtle hint about the fan base.
Yes.
Come on, guys.
We don't-
come in and get your fucking soap. You guys need
No,
to wash.
nobody knows about us. We're like in the basement doing our synthwave thing, and literally no one knows that we're even here. Yes, that's pretty much describing the entire scene. But we love it. It's it's a fun thing. But the soap might be coming. We'll see. I want a bar of soap. I want somebody to make me a synthwave soap and like mail it to me and like pay for shipping and everything like that. Like we're not expensive to be sponsored, really. But we're
Just say, hey, you like our shit.
Just-
You're a
just
sponsor.
send us free soap. That's all we want. Or a cowboy hat, because I would wear the shit out of that cowboy hat. By the way, you can curse on the show too, but it's allowed. It's not Andy last level, but be afraid. Don't be afraid to.
'Cause he's a cool guy.
Stop! Don't get me started. We're supposed to be talking about. What are we talking about? Synthwave.
We're talking about.
We're here. We're here with
Wait,
freaking
so
Sunglasses Kid. We're talking
we're
about neon
the
cowboy
OG
hats.
Sunglasses Kid, not Popcorn Kid.
Like
Not
honestly,
that
like
kid, this kid.
legit. Like when I hear about people in the scene, like the people that started the scene, your name is like literally like the second thing. It's always like it's Gunship. It's Miami Nights 1984. It's Sunglasses Kid. Like you guys are like the people who are grandfathered in and just kind of like got this ball rolling and here we are. I don't know where we're going, but here we are. Here we are. And
I think Miami Nights 1984. I think he predates me by a bit. He was definitely like someone who I recall kind of listening to him and being inspired by him. Future Cop, Kavinsky,
Yeah.
and Robots with Ray Guns.
Robots with break.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh man.
I love.
Please
Robots
tell
with
me you guys have all received your special DMs from
Special
Robots
DMs.
and Ray Guns.
Yes. If you guys are out
That
there,
guy is unreal. I
you
love him
guys-
so much.
if you guys like neon cowboy hats, you're gonna love
Yeah,
Robots
you're
with
gonna
Ray
love
Guns.
Robots with Ray Guns.
Subscribe to his Patreon, and you can maybe neon cowboy hats. Maybe
I
that could
think
be
he's got
his next
OnlyFans,
thing.
doesn't he?
That could be
Yeah,
his
he's got
next
an
photo
OnlyFans.
shoot. We laugh, but in fact, I love him. We had him on the show 2 years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Super awesome dude. I love him. I just love him.
He's amazing.
He's a free soul.
He is.
He's a free soul, and
he's
I
not
respect
afraid to show his ray gun.
Nope, not at all.
I love it.
And he's got quite the ray gun too.
Indeed.
Doesn't make sense for it. All right. Anyways,
so synthwave, this is a thing.
Right. So, Ed, when do you remember when the first, I guess, retro wavy, synth wavy track you put out was?
You were saying before that you feel like the scene kind of like discovered you, as opposed to like the other way around.
Yeah, I mean that sounds like that sounds like the way you've just put it back sounds egotistical. Like they
no. I didn't mean that.
It was
we
more
do it all the time.
And I still think this is true for a lot of, well, maybe it was certainly true at the start. I think it was I'm trying to answer both your questions at the same time, which was
we throw them like softballs. Like
I didn't, as I've said, I'm kind of on the record for saying this a lot, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself. But I hadn't heard of synthwave, but I had like many of those my sort of generation, if you want to call us that, synthwave artists. I had been put on to Kavinsky because of the movie Drive, and I was kind of searching around for his music and kind of found myself quite quickly on SoundCloud, and then went down a sort of rabbit hole of like suggested and related artists, and found like the guys I mentioned. And then I think I listened to like the music maybe for like 6 months or something, and then I was in a period where I sort of didn't know what I was really doing with my life and started making 80s sounding music, and just started putting loads of stuff on SoundCloud. But I had no ambition to like have fans, listeners. I kind of did it more as a sort of networking thing, as a kind of just a fun project. And the person I haven't mentioned, who was really the person who kind of made me see the light a bit about what I was sort of doing, because I was, spending time trying to find a kind of style or an idea or a kind of voice, and it was Mitch Murder.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't that I like set out to copy him. I very much was like, well, you can't copy Mitch Murder because then you're just going to be discount Mitch Murder. But what he inspired was
Mitch Manslaughter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Hobie Manslaughter was like a kind of, I saw in him like somebody who was doing something that was quite like fun and outlandish and really like cleverly treading the line between sort of being very on the nose retro but also really fun and interesting, and it was in listening to him that I was like, I want to be a similar vibe to him. I don't want to copy him, but I love what he's doing, and I feel like here's someone who's kind of almost giving me permission. And I think it is difficult if you're going out on a kind of limb and you're the only person doing something. And I'm not saying I was the only person doing my sound, but there were very few people doing what I was doing. I wasn't listening to lots of people going, he does that. This is a safe bet. I'll kind of nick a bit of this and a bit of that, and
honestly
do the thing.
I think your music, your sound, and the style that you have, I can't think of anybody that does it quite like you, like with your style and your whole throwback to that. It's very like, and I don't know how you feel about the use of the term synthwave. We use synthwave, retro wave, and we use it like synonymous, but anything that takes you back to an era, a nostalgic vibe. To me, when I listen to your music, I'm like straight back as a kid. I'm, listening to, all the Ferris Bueller music, bump, bump, and like the Ferris, the sunglasses.
For me, it's like really early. It's a lot like Droid Bishop. I get this. Your music makes me think of like the really, really early 80s or late 70s.
Yeah, it's got a funk to it too, which is what I love.
Sitting in the back of my dad's car, choking on the secondhand smoke, listening to like contemporary radio that's like tuned on the radio.
Yeah. I always think about like it. To me, there's not many artists, I would say, that makes me think of movies. But to me, it always brings me back to like all the old hijinks. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like hijinks movies, like the Graduate or the Rodney Dangerfield. What is that? Back to School, and of course Ferris Bueller, which is like I feel like you have a lot of that vibe.
Bueller.
But
Bueller.
I really think that your music really is very signature-esque. Is that a thing? Signature-esque?
Signature-esque,
It
yeah.
is now.
Signature.
It is now. I just made that a thing. But yeah, it takes you to a very specific place, and I think that's really cool. And I don't know many people or anybody that really emulates that one moment in time as you do. And I think you just totally nail the aesthetic, and I dig it. It's good stuff.
I mean, I guess, and it goes back to like walking that line of like I definitely err on the side of kind of emulating the original sounds rather than doing what a lot of synthwave artists do, which I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying it's not what I do.
Right.
Is that they're doing a more kind of they're looking at the 80s through a more contemporary kind of lens, and they're putting their own spin.
Right. I know exactly what you're saying.
The music has a lot more flavors of a kind of modern, kind of slight EDM-y template or something, but then kind of mapped onto it are like kind of 80s-esque sounds.
It's a progression.
But like if you listen to synthwave, there's not a lot of actual music from the 80s that actually really sounds like it, even though synthwave sounds very 80s. But if you said like find the song from the 80s that sounds like that,
yep,
yeah,
you can find bits and pieces here and there. You can definitely find the raw ingredients in, like, you can listen to I don't know, the Giorgio Moroder soundtrack or something, or a John Carpenter soundtrack, and go, oh, that's where that sound comes from or whatever. But whereas I suppose I'm more kind of a bit of a master forgery kind of like songs. Like,
no, but I dig that. I think that's a really cool thing. In fact, I can tell you another artist that you may or may not know of, but Diamond Field is.
I know him, yeah.
All about that one sound, that Belinda Carlisle. It's a very specific sound, and his claim that he always wants to be. I forget what. In fact, I have his. Hold on, I have his album right here. Literally, I'm just gonna read straight off the album. It is 21st century 80s music, and basically that's it. It's 80s music, but it's just done in the 21st century, where he's not trying to evolve the sound. He's not trying to make it into like an EDM-y or a clubby kind of thing. Like, he's legit going for that vibe.
It's like having your DX7, but now you've got a world of VSTs at your fingertips.
Yeah,
yeah. I guess like the going what you were touching on earlier about like my music evoking a kind of, I guess, like making you think of films. I suppose when I'm writing stuff, I do spend a lot of time listening to original 80s music, and I spend a lot of time kind of studying some of the greats, like the producers who I think are the kind of greats of 80s.
What are some of your inspirations? What are some of the artists that you listen to when you're trying to get that vibe?
I mean, again, it depends on like the style I'm going for. So certainly for like graduation and sophomore, I was listening to a lot of Scritti Politti, who I discovered Mitch Murder loves as well. But not that I knew he loved them. I once spoke to Mitch Murder very briefly about Scritti Politti and Toms, and that was my only exchange.
Scritti Politti, I've never heard that.
What? Scritti Politti? Come on.
Yeah, and so yeah, Scritti Politti, like The System, pretty much anything produced by Jam and Lewis, pretty much anything produced by L.A. Reid and Babyface, who did like things like Bobby Brown's early albums.
Right.
Jam and Lewis did
Every little step.
yeah, exactly. Jam and Lewis did like Rhythm Nation, and once you like recognize Jam and Lewis, if you like listen to like, I don't know, some compilation playlist on YouTube of Jam and Lewis songs, you'll suddenly realize there's a signature sound is present in all of their music. So like Human by Human League,
I'm only human.
is a Jam and Lewis song, and it's like unlike any other Human League song, and it's very R&B. And when you hear those sort of chord sequences they use, you'll notice them in other Jam and Lewis kind of tracks, which are much more R&B. So I definitely spend most time listening to either kind of what was then called R&B, like 80s R&B.
Yeah.
And also, I suppose I listened to a lot of 80s movie scores and film scores in general, and jazz, and I still listen. I love all the famous pop songs, but I guess I'm always thinking of like movies or like atmospheres or places or scenes or stories. So I'm always trying to do some form of storytelling in all my music. And the last album I did, Nightlife, which I didn't put out as an official album. I was kind of trying to tell everyone it's not an album, it's not a real album, because it was essentially a kind of dump of stuff.
Oh man, it's pretty album-like, man. I love that album. I'm calling it an album. I don't care.
I literally made it. It was very like, a lot of those tracks were made in like something like 5 hours.
Are you kidding me?
And mixed on my headphones, so people were like, you know, what are you gonna do with these tracks? You can do anything with them? And I was like, these are all kind of just like things I'm kind of dumping a bit on social media as ideas, and
I can't believe
and then I was
that.
like, well, look, I'll put it out as a kind of EP, and I'm calling it a mixtape, and people just kept calling it an album, and I'm like, it's not an official album. I don't want everyone to think this is me announcing this is like an actual proper album.
Let me just say,
time and effort on
if you put that out as something that you just jammed out in 5 hours, and I give up. I'm never getting into music because
right?
that
is
just
the whole thing
fire.
about like how long it takes to write a track. Like, I do emphasize to people, sometimes, you know, you make a song and you make a piece of music and it takes you like 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes you spend 5 or 6 hours and you make nothing.
Right.
And it's like it took 5 or 6 hours to make this song, plus 15 years of making music almost every day of my life.
Right.
And lots of failed shit to suddenly hit on an idea. And if you hit on a great idea, it will flow, and it will kind of come quickly. So it's this. I mean, in any kind of art, people obsess over how long it takes to create things, but they don't see like what it took to get you there. Like, how do you do that so quickly?
Right.
And it's like,
you had 15 years behind you.
Yeah, it's like I can do it quickly because I've been doing it like a lot, not because I'm some sort of prodigy. It's like it was like my first day making music, and I was doing it in like 5 hours. That would be maybe impressive, but
right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of music, let's play some Sunglasses Kid music. Actually, let's start it off here. I actually want to play this track first because this, I really dig the artists that are involved, and this was actually a Sunglasses Kid remix, but I know you were involved in this track by Sander Gavin, and
Sander Gavin? I like to call him the master of the hook.
Yeah, he's got a vibe to him. He definitely has a vibe. Jerica Gold, is that how you pronounce that name? Yeah,
Jerica Gold.
All right, so we're going to go with that. Do you want to talk a little bit about this remix that you did? Now, I know we just got done talking about like all of the music. We're like, now let's play something that someone else wrote. But
no, it's great. It's fine because it's probably the last thing I've done, kind of officially, quote unquote, officially done. Which, yeah, at Sandor, I hate to admit it, I didn't know him, but yeah, he sent me over a few different tracks saying, would I be interested in a remix of any one of these. Something about that vocal stood out to me. I thought it was really nice, and it was one that I felt like, here's something where I could flip it and do something that's a bit different, because I always think it's a bit odd can you do an 80s remix of an 80s sounding song? It's kind of like 80s and 80s.
Make it more 80s.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like
so I was
thing.
like, well, what can I do with any of these? And I heard in that something where I was like, maybe this could be a kind of halftime, kind of Jam and Lewisy kind of slow jam thing, and that was it. So it's a kind of fun, atmospheric. I suppose it is the most kind of ode to a kind of Jam and Lewis, Human League-y kind of vibe track that I've done.
Definitely, it's got your signature all over it. So it's a wonderful play. So we're gonna go ahead and play this one just to kind of warm you guys up to the sound. And yeah, we're gonna dive right on into it. So once again, this is Sandor Gavin, Jerica Gold, and this is the Sunglasses Kid remix of a little tune called Perfection, right here on Night Ride FM.
To me, that I've find somebody who cares about my future and takes relationships seriously, and that's what's important to me.
All right, once again, that was Perfection by Sander Gavin and Jerica Gold, the Sunglasses Kid remix. And you know what? We have not really even asked you. This is our favorite thing to ask, but we love asking artists. How we were literally telling this story.
It's a very original question,
and we did not hear the answer to this before. But where did you get the name Sunglasses Kid?
yeah, I was sorry, we were just talking about this thing again. Yeah,
We're terrible liars.
yeah, terrible. I can't lie for like 10 seconds, can I? I'm not in the show business, you can tell. Yeah, no, as I was saying, like, when I first like created my SoundCloud account, and I had no ambition to do anything really. I was just and I was going to upload my first song, and it was like, you need to put your name in, and I was like, well, I can't put Edward. And I had the VST for the Korg Wave Station, which is an emulation of the famous Korg Wave 90s keyboard, and it opened, and I happened to be on a preset called Sunglasses Kid, so it's the name of a preset. And that's
amazing.
And I was just like, oh, that'll fucking do. And it sounds a bit 80s. I kind of liked it. I did sit and think about it for a moment, going, I mean, like, why am I overthinking this? I don't give a shit. I have 0 followers, and nothing's going to come of any of this. But that'll do. It kind of sounds like I kind of pictured like a Ferris Bueller character in a kind of, you know, it's kind of in step with my vibe of kind of, you know, 80s teen movies and stuff.
Right.
And then I was saying, like, years later, someone DM'd me and was like, bro, Korg's named a preset after you. But,
Yes, they did.
They did.
So yeah, that's where it came from. And then I'd always said to myself, I'll always rename it if I'm ever like going to do anything properly. I'll rename it myself. I'm not gonna have this stupid fucking name. And then like someone that wasn't a synthwavy thing. It was actually quite a well-known or well thought of website that was used by like vocalists. Because I changed my bio in SoundCloud to say I was looking for people to collaborate with. And then some website, forget what its name was, found me. I don't know how the fuck they found me, but they found me, and then they wrote a review and said I was looking to collaborate with people. And I started getting flooded with DMs from singers looking to collaborate with me.
Oh wow!
And then the name kind of stuck, and I kind of was starting to kind of get ranking in Google. Because my biggest achievement, if you want to know what my biggest achievement is making the first page of Google be all about me and not children's sunglasses, which it was when I first started. I was like, this is the worst name for SEO like ever. But yeah.
But you pulled it off. That's amazing. That actually brings me into 2 questions. Because I swear to God, we wrote this down. This actually came from one of our Patreons, Lord Tuts, who wants to know, how many pairs of sunglasses do you own? Stupid question.
Well, since like in the last couple of months, like I've had some kind of attention, like some new attention on social media, and I've had brands reach out to me, and some brand gave me like 5 pairs of sunglasses.
See, now you got brands reaching out to you.
Brand deals.
Maybe Neon Cowboys is going to reach out to you.
Some fan once sent me which I was so pleased about because I had a pair and lost them. Some fan sent me one of the pairs of sunglasses that came with the Back to the Future, the 2 Pizza Hut merchandise back in the day.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
And then I've got the ones that I wear in a lot of my videos on social media, which are they're genuine 80s, but I don't know what brand they are. Everyone asks me about them, and they're I found them in like a thrift store somewhere for like $5. And
That's
I've got
incredible.
probably about, I don't know, I've probably got about 15 pairs of sunglasses.
That's pretty good, actually. Well, very good, very
good.
But
I can't wear any of them because I'm actually, the real sunglasses I wear are actually prescription. So I'm like, thanks for the sunglasses that I can't fucking wear. So at some point I should do some sort of giveaway.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
By the way, I just wanted to say, I want to first shout out to Supa, Mr. 3, Joust 7800, Evil Love, our buddy Dimmy K, all the way from Greece.
Dimmy K.
We're early tonight, so Dimmy can tune in.
Yeah.
And Dave 808 Turner as well. And by the way, speaking of names, the Great Arcade was saying that he was watching. He's a big fan of Big Trouble in Little China. Of course, we've got Ed Shen in the chat as well, so he's got to pipe up. But yeah, there's a track from the in the movie by JC called The Great Arcade. Apparently, I didn't know that.
Well, very good.
So there you go. So you can get your name from anywhere.
That's right. You can indeed. So I did have one other question. The other question is this is I feel like I don't know where this is gonna go, but I'm just gonna put it out there. Vocals. I think I can't remember. You were talking with Andy last, I think, about vocals in synthwave. Now I feel like you have kind of because you actually, I think, I forget which album that you put out, but you do occasionally you have some vocal tracks. You know, do you prefer no vocals generally, or a mix, or you kind of like, is it starting to sway you? Because here's another thing too. I find that sometimes artists will start with, you know, just pure no vocal synthwave, and it's a very polarizing thing within the scene. So if you have an opinion on it either way, like you're sharing the same opinion with 50% of the scene, really. But I'm interested in knowing your take, because I know you do use vocalists on occasion. Is it something that you really don't like, but occasionally use? Is it growing on you? What's your vibe on that?
I use a lot of vocalists. I've like graduation and sophomore.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
There's more tracks with singers on it than not, and I think I'm not saying
JJ missed, right?
I pioneered the idea of collaborating with singers, but I was probably one of the first synthwave people to start reaching out to singers and doing that, because it was a lot of instrumental stuff back when I started making music, and I always was approaching it more as a kind of, I guess, a sort of pop project.
Because you're an R&B guy. I mean, that's your vibe. That's your wheelhouse. So I think I probably completely heard. You know how like you misremember things? I do it constantly.
I mean, I do have instrumentals on there. I think.
Yeah, some albums.
I guess my like the pros and cons of vocals, I guess, is because I get a lot of people who are like, oh, I want to just want the instrumental, and Nightlife was just all instrumentals and seemed to be popular for that reason. But you do run a risk when you collaborate with any singer, and a lot of it comes back to that thing I've said before about walking the line, and you've got to make sure the singer's understood the assignment, and if your music's going to be super 80s and fully on the nose, I think where it can go wrong is if the vocalist is also doing the same thing.
Right.
So if the vocalist starts doing like, yeah, I'm on a neon highway driving my Ferrari with Don Johnson, then it's like it's too much 80s. It's like you don't need to, as a singer, fucking mention the 80s or do anything because the music's doing the heavy lifting for you.
That is true.
So it's better that you like sing around like maybe like thematic things that were popular in the 80s. So like there were themes, or there were kind of ideas that were popular, or, you know, rhyming styles. And it's like, I'll say that about like writing 80s music. People will be like, what sounds do you use? And it's like, the sounds are they're half the story, but there was like chord progressions that were more popular in the 80s than now, right? There were like in vogue chord progressions. That's like current in vogue chord progressions you'll hear in EDM now. And so it's kind of it's finding all the different ingredients and, like I say, striking the balance. Although, having said that, I had that rap song on graduation called 80s Baby.
A certain aesthetic pretty well. Is like him and his what would you call it, Dennis? Business wave? Business?
Yeah, I would say something like that.
Corporate wave?
Yeah.
Capitalism wave?
It's like
I wonder.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, just checking. Sorry for a second. Like having said all that, there's a track on graduation called 80s Baby where I worked with a rapper and I was like, you don't need to mention the 80s, and he just completely went full 80s and just rapped all about the 80s. So that was the one time where I was like, it ended up being fun.
He leaned in,
fun, but I was like, it went a bit too like novelty, though I do love the track. But, and it was, I can't remember how I was saying it to you about, you've got to be careful when you hand people file names if you've got working titles for songs, because a lot of the time singers will run with the working title and come up with a lyric off it.
I never thought of that. Yeah.
If you don't want your song to like, if you just come up with some working title, you know, like, you know, you just call it like Ferrari Jam or something. You've got to be careful, because the next thing is a singer will be like, in my Ferrari Jam. You're like, no,
driving down the highway.
Yeah, so it's a risky endeavor collaborating with singers.
Oh, that's actually pretty fascinating. I never really thought about that whole concept of picking titles and just, I guess, any little part, like whether it's a title or your singer is going to key off of that and kind of go into a direction. But I guess if they are, it's kind of a fine line, I guess, if they're too on the nose, meta, I'm singing about the 80s while I'm singing about the 80s, singing 80s lyrics. And
okay, let's touch on Dave 808 Turner was mentioning, reminded me that, of course, your social media chops are nothing to laugh at. You've got your POV little Instagram, TikTok-y posts.
Yes.
So you and the other kid both are doing these really cool, like, they take off. It's amazing when you give a sort of a prod viewers and listeners to put themselves in a mindset. POV, it's 1989 and da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
That stuff, it makes your tracks, you lay out the story for the listener, and then they can really associate this kind of music or that sound to these memories.
Yeah. When did you start doing that? I know you were kind of like the OG, like you were really the guy kind of, I don't want to say invented it.
I'd like to think I did come up with it.
You did.
I did spend a lot of time thinking about it because the reason, because there was, when Instagram was like starting to go toward short form video, because I follow social media trends quite a bit, and TikTok was just destroying Instagram, and there was a lot around Instagram going to short form video, and I was like, I better get on TikTok because I feel like Instagram's about to die. And Instagram I was kind of crawling along on Instagram, and so I joined TikTok, and I spent a lot of time watching what was the kind of, knowing the kind of vibe of TikTok. It's like doing stand-up. It's like learning what kind of routines go down well in this club and what routines flop, and you've got to enter into any of those channels kind of playing the game a bit. And also what I noticed about a lot of musicians, not just synthwave, but any musicians, is that a lot of the comments and interactions were with people, other musicians, talking about the process, talking about like, oh, what VSTs did you use? What synths did you use? And a lot of musicians will kind of showcase the process. So like, I'm using this synth or anything. And I was like, this is kind of alienating for like people who don't know anything about music.
Right.
And it kind of attracts lots of people just chatting about synths. And there was a few comedians that I was following on Instagram. There's one particular woman who'd do these scenes. So she was acting on like a green screen, and she was doing these kind of, not quite POVs, but they were basically these POV things where she was like, it's 2003 and you're back at high school, and she'd do these skits, and she was playing lots of different characters, and they're very funny, and they would get thousands of likes, and she had a massive following. And I was like, there's a massive appetite for this kind of nostalgia thing, but how could you port that onto music? And so I kept experimenting with this idea until I came up with this sort of, and the POV thing was like a trending meme across TikTok. And I was like, can I do something with the POV thing and music and somehow make this work for a musical performance? And also I feel like I've got to be in the video because TikTok's all about people.
Right, yeah.
But I don't want to do anything that's like masses of effort where I've got to work really hard on every video to do anything and then become this video person. And so it kind of combined everything. It combined my love of film. It was kind of like telling people what I had in my mind. Mm-hmm. And the art of kind of coming up with those captions is really to kind of hint at stuff. And I tested it, and I started seeing, I was like, people really actually are reading that caption. It is actually making a difference. And then I started going viral on TikTok and had this really annoying thing happen where the algorithm took down my song, which I think you might be playing later, called Running Late, because I released it, and I think what happened was there was an algorithmic takedown on my own song.
Isn't that crazy? Like,
I know, right?
That happens a lot.
It's really annoying.
And it's mind-blowing.
People were like in the comments basically playing 80s tropes. So it was also like a sort of game a bit where like you say your known 80s trope, people recognize the 80s trope, you don't name the movie, but you kind of allude to movies that you might be thinking of, but you say it, you come up with a trope that's kind of familiar. Mm-hmm. And then and make sure the music feels like it's underscoring that kind of like, yes, that's definitely the vibe. That music sounds just like that trope. And then everyone's in the comments playing 80s tropes and discussing 80s movies and having fun with it, and the songs playing and playing and playing in the background whilst everyone's trying to be witty in the comments and riffing off each other and having fun. So I was like, this is kind of a perfect like synergy of all this stuff coming together. And so I was really pleased with the fact that I was like, yes, this actually does fucking work. And then so it kind of, that was how I came up with it.
I love it.
Speaking of running late.
Speaking of running late.
We're running late.
Hurry the fuck A, we're running late. B, we're going to play the song Running Late because it's a jam, man. I love this tune. Now, once again, just to quickly set this up. So this Running Late was one of the ones that you kind of put together while you were jamming out on TikTok,
noodling.
This was one where I sat down and started writing a funky beat. And I came, and afterwards I was lying in bed with my girlfriend going, what should we call this one? And I was like, it's like, she came up with the initial idea. It was like, they're running late. And I was like, oh yeah, that's funny. Everyone's always running late in the 80s.
Right.
And I was like, running late.
In the airport, and you're running.
I was like,
to the office.
Yeah, I was like, he's running late for his first job. And I was like, in the big city. Oh, that's funny. And I posted it, and then like.
Bright lights.
Yeah, exactly. And then like 3 days later, it had like 370,000 plays. And then I released the song hastily because I'd thrown like 20,000 followers, and then fucking got my algorithmic takedown on it.
That's classic.
I gotta release it now. God damn it!
Yeah. Getting gigged on your own song, man. That is.
I know, that's why I'm not releasing anything right now. I'm not fucking getting taken down again.
You've got a warning, sir. Stop making your own music.
I know. You violated your own copyright.
Good Lord. All right, so we're going to go ahead and play this track here. This is a super dope track. You can imagine yourself running late for something, because I usually am every day, usually. And jam out. This is Sunglasses Kid with Running Late right here on Night Ride FM. All right, and that was Running Late with a cool stinger at the end by Sunglasses Kid. I like that little end, man. You like your orc stabs. I call them orc stabs. Is that like a proper term?
I think the proper term is orc hit, which is
orc hits. Yeah,
hit.
It goes bonk, bonk.
I'm quite the
bonk.
nerd about orc hits because the original orc hit was on the Fairlight sampler synthesizer, and it's actually a sample taken from Stravinsky's Firebird. So if you want to make your own orc hits, you actually can.
That's incredible.
So, okay. So we were talking in the back there. The Great Arcade had a question for you, and he wanted to know we want to know what your process is for starting a track, creating a track.
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
How do you get the ball rolling?
I think like it's important to kind of have a vague direction of where you're going and what the kind of vibe is that you're on. So I personally don't like to start something just as a complete blank slate. I have no idea what I'm doing at all. So I think the more clear in your mind of the idea of what it is you're setting out to make, even if you probably won't manage to make what you set out to make, but if you have a strong indication of what you're setting out to make, because that's your first decision, like, well, what tempo is this thing, whatever it is. But I will spend a lot of time just on a keyboard, just on a piano sound. Like I'll open up like an electric piano that I love, my electric pianos, and so it kind of feels 80s, but I will mainly stick to a keyboard and stick to coming up with a good chord progression or a catchy chord progression. And I kind of refuse to leave that until I feel I've really got something there, like the bare bones of the architecture. And I've said this before on many podcasts that when you're inside like a kind of computer, situation, you're emulating an entire studio, and you're emulating like several disciplines all at once. You're in a mix environment, a composing environment, and so there's lots of distractions there that are threatening to take you away from the songwriting bit. Like, oh, maybe I'll just noodle around with these reverbs, or I'll spend 10 minutes selecting snares.
Pan it left, pan it right.
So I tend to start by like I'll quite often, unless I have an incredibly specific drum idea, I might just lay down a loop just to give me something that's not the metronome, and then start messing around with chord sequences, because I think the moment you start making drum beats, you get lost in all this programming and realize you still haven't written a song yet. So for me, the fundamentals are get a good chord sequence down, figure out what the underlying architecture of the track's going to be, and then go to the fun stuff like the drum programming and the ear candy and the melodies and the counter melodies and everything. So that's kind of generally how I approach most. Sometimes, occasionally, a track I did called Can't Hide started with a bass line, but most of the time I start with chords.
That's cool. I dig that.
What's your DAW of choice?
There it is.
I gotta ask.
There it is.
The very first DAW I started using was Fruity Loops, or FL Studio as is now known.
Yeah.
It was called Fruity Loops back then. I was literally on Fruity Loops 2, and it was a bunch of pirated software a Norwegian guy gave me at film school.
That's great.
Fruity Loops was the only one I could get to even make a sound. And so I'm a long-standing user of FL Studio, of which all of graduation's done on FL. About half the sophomore's done on FL, but I use Cubase 12 now.
Okay.
But I've kind of jumped between the two DAWs, and there was a point where I was using both of them. I was using FL for drum programming and initial kind of ideas, and then I was using Cubase to kind of mix and add other elements in later.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, that's why.
Right. Write that down.
That's not a particularly conventional thing, but Cubase 12 continues to be my workhorse, and has a lot of things in it that, especially going back to collaborating with singers, like there's an unbelievably obvious thing that FL Studio, I think it might be able to do it now, but couldn't do it for years. It was just intensely difficult to quickly transpose an entire song's MIDI. So you want to move something up a couple of semitones, whereas it's like a 1 second job in Cubase. And when you're collaborating with singers, they could come back to you like,
oh, right.
Say, hey, this is a little bit out of my range or a bit below my range. Could you just notch it up 2 semis?
Oh, that's cool.
And that was like a gigantic job in FL and like a 2 second job in Cubase. So that was one of the reasons I kind of, and there's stuff in Cubase that you can do for like exporting stuff that's, if you're working with like again, sophomore, I had somebody else mix the album, and when I'm doing remixes or I'm providing stems and things like that, Cubase can automate a lot of stuff and do it in a way that's much easier to work with. So if you like sophomore, literally, I think I remember counting it. It had something like 15 people involved in it in the end. So you're doing there's a lot of administrative stuff behind the scenes of doing those collaborations where you need a system that can kind of handle that kind of stuff. So it's the more boring side of music production that you have to take into account as well.
Yeah, that's cool though. All right, well, very good. So we know the process. We know the jams that you have. Man, I love your first 2 albums, and just the one that, believe it or not, the one that really got me going is the album that you say isn't an album at all. But even my dog's barking in the background. She's excited about it too. This brings me back. This Nightlife EP, which I guess it's got, what, 7 songs, 8 songs?
You think it's 8? Yeah.
It's an album.
Yeah, it kind of is an album, yeah.
It's an album.
But
it was more like I'm calling it an EP to excuse the quality.
No. Here's the thing. Again, all your albums, and I don't know if this was an obvious or a thing that you kind of had as far as like a grand plan, but like you said before, all of your albums take you to a place and have a story behind it. To me, the progression of those 3, and again, I'm calling them albums, basically starting off with, hold on, I need to scroll up in our notes here. Graduation, right.
It's no accident that it starts
and then
with
sophomore.
Then leads on to sophomore.
And then, now we're into the Nightlife EP, when this is when Dennis hit puberty and is watching all the dirty movies on HBO.
Yeah. All the pixelated, scrambled dirty movies.
Oh my God. I'm telling you. All right, so we teased out one of the things on Twitter. We were talking about your favorite Mickey Rourke movie because to me it's just dripping. It's dripping with Mickey Rourke and like 13-year-old me listen to this music. Like I used to be a bad boy and I used to like record.
Can you imagine putting this on a poster? Nightlife is dripping with 13-year-old boys and Mickey Rourke.
Yeah, we need to. Speaking of AI, we should get AI to draw
POV.
God. But yeah, like the vibe of that is just, it's incredible. Like the way that you brought us through elementary school, high school, out of school, and now like this is just like,
I'm glad you noticed that. I'm glad you picked up on that.
Oh, totally.
That was deliberate.
I'm glad it is, because if not, then I was going to like be like, yo, dude, you got this progression thing. But yeah, it's amazing where again, Mickey Rourke and Skinemax, and like I'm trying to like reach for my notes to see if I have it. I did write stuff down.
Literally, I think the track you're gonna play, you mentioned my play, is so on the nose.
Yes, Red Shoes
is literally about the Red Shoe Diaries.
Oh my God, yes.
It was it was this thing of because originally I was gonna call it Night Vibes, because I was doing a thing on social media where I was using this kind of similar format to the POV thing, only I was kind of, it was in the early days of coming up with the idea, and I was calling things, I'm making like Baywatch Nights vibes or something.
Right, yes.
And so I'd had this kind of essentially what became this kind of series, quote unquote, of content on social media that I was kind of, people were calling my vibes. And people kept saying, you should put out these vibes, you should call it the Vibes album or something. And then when I came to pulling the trigger on giving it a title, I was like, Night Vibes, because everything feels a little bit like it's a late night erotica, trashy, neo-noir late night
now
TV
we're talking
show you shouldn't be watching on at night. You've snuck into your front room and your parents are asleep and you're watching something a little bit dodgy on, some channel. And then I was like, Night Vibes is a bit cheesy, but Nightlife kind of captured the sort of thing of it still says the same thing, which is this kind of, it's this kind of world after dark, this late night, and it's both a lot of those neo-noir movies take place at night or at sunset.
Oh yeah.
And also you're probably watching those late at night as well, like that kind of weird 11 to like midnight 1 a.m. as you're, you know, like you say, a 13-year-old or whatever.
And it is,
so I felt like it evoked.
We had a channel in Toronto that played those cheesy Italian movies where there's always like the girl gets with the guy.
Man, they go
in the barn, and you're like, oh my god, boobs.
They go crazy. Those Italians, man, like those movies, like.
Well, we had like in
wild.
the UK, because I'm old enough to remember when, believe it or not, we only had 4 channels.
BBC 1, 2, 3, and 4.
1, 2, 3, and 4. and then a 5th channel got launched called Channel 5, which now Channel 5 as it stands today is like a very pedestrian channel. It just does standard TV. But back in the early 90s, it came out of the gate being this kind of edgy channel that had loads of dodgy erotic like things late at night, including the Red Shoe Diaries. So it was known for being this kind of edgy, cool, slightly soft porn like thing you shouldn't be watching, but you did. And so I had a lot of memories of this kind of, my parents are out and watch Channel 5.
It's very weird. It's a very weird thing to say. And it's very, I'm trying to conceptualize in words that when you think about nostalgia, when you think about the things that you've lived and the things that bring you back to a kid, you always think about like the innocent things. But honestly, when I was 13 and I was having those 13-year-old,
there was no innocence.
There was no innocence, but still, the nostalgia is just as authentic as anything else. In fact, even more, because it was the time of my life when I was like learning all this stuff. And like when you're a kid, when you're 8 years old, so much of the world is kind of gated off. You don't really understand phrases or things, and then you discover like this other, seediness, and really it's really what makes the world go around in a sense. And you open your eyes to this, and as you're growing into an adult, and you're learning these things. You go
from being a geek watching X-Files to Red Shoe Diaries. Yeah.
But the emotions are just
I'm no longer a geek. I'm watching the Red Shoe Diaries now. I'm really
right?
Cool. That's not what geeks do.
But it is potent. It's a potent medicine. It's a potent drug, just like the palm trees. That feel, that raw energy, that sexual energy, that
I think the
sexual energy of a palm tree.
I think the thing that stood out to me was when I looked back on films and TV shows and things that resonated with me, or I really remembered, and then like revisiting those movies now, what I realized in hindsight was the films I loved the most, and I've still continue to love, all had fucking amazing soundtracks.
Yeah.
And so like you take a movie which is a banger movie anyway, but you take one of my favorite movies of all time, Point Break. The soundtrack's by Mark Isham, who's really a jazz guy, who does this incredibly interesting, ambient, beautiful soundscape soundtrack to Point Break. If that could have had a slightly different soundtrack, and I reckon it would have wrecked the vibe of the movie. And it's just the importance of soundtracks and score to movies, and how much atmosphere they bring. And when I look back at all my favorite movies, there's not really any movie in there that doesn't have an incredible soundtrack. And I realize a lot of my favorite moments in movies are like the best bits in the score as well. So I wasn't consciously absorbing it at the time, but in hindsight, I'm looking back going, it's always been a love affair with music and movies for me, and score. And that's kind of what I wanted to kind of elicit out it. So I'm not necessarily hoping people will remember or nostalgia, but it's evoking that kind of just that cool emotion that those scores would evoke at the time.
Yeah, totally. And again, with this album, I'm calling it an album, I don't care. It's right in the zone. Like, and honestly, even like a lot of those movies that you watched, like they did have some banging soundtracks. Like even that like late night sound. Well, we're just gonna play this song, and you guys are gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. But I think you really nailed the vibe, you nailed the aesthetic. So we're gonna dive into this. This is a tune once again by Sunglasses Kid. This is Red Shoes, and you're listening to it right here on Night Ride FM. Enjoy. And that was Red Shoe Diaries with Sunglasses Kid. Yes. All right, I tell you what.
I love that.
You like that one? I like that one too. That one is probably my favorite track off of that album. You can get that. Just go to Sunglasses Kids Bandcamp and you can check that out.
On a Nightlife.
Buy everything. Just buy everything. God damn it. That's it.
I'm back.
Very good. Right. Welcome back.
So the Great Arcade wanted to know if you remember a TV show called The Crystal Maze.
Do I? Yeah, I do. Yeah.
I had no idea what it was. I had to Google it.
It was a fun game show in the early 90s where contestants had to solve a bunch of like puzzles where you would get locked into the room if you failed to solve them, and if you succeeded, you get a crystal, and at the end the crystals represented how much time you had to then grab as much either gold or silver leaves flying around a dome that was blowing them into the air. For every gold, you wanted to get as many gold as you could and as few silver as you could, and the silvers would, like, offset the gold, and it was always no one ever won the prize. They were like, you have got 25 gold, but you've got 2,000 silver, so you've lost. No one ever fucking won.
Oh my god,
it was great.
Very good.
It was very nice. It's very nostalgic.
I tell you, I wish, like, with American TV, and well, you guys had, you know, I guess Canada TV and UK
actually,
TV.
Our TV is like 20% Canadian, 80% American.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. All I know is we had some dumb shows in the 80s, and we have some dumb shows now. So I guess we're we're par for the course. But I never saw that show. I'm very jealous. I love a good. I guess that's like a game show. I guess kind of like.
Yeah, it was like a team of like 5 people, and it was hosted by Richard O'Brien, who's the bald guy who was in Little Shop of Horrors.
No.
And Little Shop of Horrors or Little Rocky Horror Show.
Rocky Horror Show.
Oh, right.
I always get those two mixed up.
Very cool.
And yeah, and the other thing that was kind of dramatic about it was they had different zones in this really elaborate studio. So they had like an Aztec zone, an industrial zone, a medieval zone. And so part of the bit that everyone actually thought was the coolest bit was they'd run from one zone to another, and they'd be like running across a little suspension bridge over water and dry ice, and they had this kind of vibey theme tune that would play. So the most exciting bit was like, right, we're going to go run to the industrial zone.
The French had. It sounds like I remember when I was visiting my family in France, they had a similar type of game show, but they pit a team from one town against a team from another town. And they take over like the center of the towns or something. They build this crazy, almost like like, you know, those Japanese shows where people are running over inflatable balls or something and smacking into. Yeah. So it was very similar, and I think the Europeans got to it first back in the 80s with these crazy game shows where people would like dodge giant things and.
Yeah.
The
best shows are when you.
The maddest thing about Takeshi's Castle is Takeshi, the host, is actually a fucking amazing film director and actor called Takeshi Kitano. He's one of my favorite filmmakers.
Oh, wow.
And he makes deadly serious crime films, all about the Yakuza.
But in this one, he's like
a really enigmatic character, because he was known as a sort of comedian in Japan, as a kind of television celebrity comedian, and doing the Takeshi's Castle and doing these kind of light-hearted things. But he had this sort of alter ego doing these really intense existential art house Yakuza films, and they are all fucking brilliant. So I definitely recommend you guys and anyone listening to check out Takeshi Kitano's actual movies, because they're brilliant.
All right,
speaking of checking out, I think we're gonna have to like blast through the rest of the show.
Yes.
So I want to get to the point where we tell everyone where to find your music. Obviously, on Spotify, all the streaming services.
Yep.
And I guess you can be found on sunglasseskid.bandcamp.com, also on SoundCloud.
You can. I can.
Your socials.
They are both the same. I'm really, really rubbish on Twitter, and my Facebook page is like a graveyard to me. And so in Instagram and TikTok, the same. They're both at Sunglasses Kid Music.
Well, there it is. Very good. And we mentioned Bandcamp. Go out and buy all of Sunglasses Kids.
Sunglasseeskid.bandcamp.com. Throw all the money at them.
That's it. Well, very good. This is amazing. We're gonna play some more tracks, but feel free to hang out if you don't mind, and we could talk about some fun stuff.
It's almost 1 a.m.
It's true, yeah. But
that's early. That's early for me. But,
yeah. You're not the first producer to say that.
It's when I make all my music.
Yeah, it's not a bad time to make that late night. You make that sexy music.
That sexy late night vibes, just on my own.
Gonna go watch some scrambled.
Speaking of sexy vibes, we're gonna play this next track here.
Yes.
Now, this artist is one of my favorites. It's Lavenu, and he puts out these wonderful concept albums, and this one is all about this club Topaz. Club Topaz. But I mean, so Jesse, aka Lavenu, the guy has mastered the graphic art that everybody loves about
I guess, retrowave, synthwave, right?
Yeah.
His posters, his album art, and his music, it's like it evokes sitting in a hammock on a beach, like next to a boardwalk with roller skaters going by and seagulls. Well, yeah. Anyways,
Speaking of nailing the aesthetic, he
so,
definitely does.
This guy has a direct link to my bank account, because every time he drops a new album, I'm the first to buy the deluxe. 4 posters, 6 cassettes.
You're a sucker, man. You get suckered in all that merch, man.
Sure enough. So yeah, here we go. Last Saturday, he dropped his latest album called Club Tropez. And Dennis, you picked a track off this called Breaking.
I did.
By Avenue.
This is one that Karin played, so I dug it.
Ooh.
So, yeah.
Let's do it then. This is Breaking by L'Avenue right here on Night Ride FM.
And that was Breakin' by Lavenue.
So speaking, we were talking earlier about a vibe, and so I'm listening to that track by Lavenue, and I'm thinking it reminds me of, you remember the movie Commando with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah.
It reminds me of those scenes from 80s movies where he's like chasing or like following the guy through the 80s mall, you know, scoping him out and everything, and he's running through the mall, and this is the kind of music that would play in the movie.
Yeah.
Behind a scene like that.
It's amazing how they find, producers find these like little niche things that's like in the very back of your brain, and it just pulls it out. It's like, yeah, remember that scene,
that's
that
why we
one
like these
movie
producers.
scene.
And Commando, fun fact, Commando was scored by James Horner. So it's
I didn't know that.
James Horner's like, if you listen to like his like action and thriller scores, like his soundtrack for like Clear and Present Danger or something like that, or Aliens or anything like that, and you hear his action cues, they're fucking intense. And then once you listen to enough Horner, go back to Commando, you'll notice Horner's like stock signature melodies that he puts over everything, and they're just all over Commando. It's brilliant. And
then it just goes completely to the left field with that last like rock metal, what is it, like glam rock track at the end. That's the kind of
sums up the 80s, like steel drums, synths, and glam rock.
There you go.
What else could you
kind of
want?
stuff Megatronics would play that last song. But anyways, we have kept you. It is 1 a.m. in the UK for you. So we're going to, as Dennis would say, bid you adieu.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks
so much for coming on.
We want to wish you nothing but success with your music endeavors.
Thank you.
Everyone out there, check out our good old man,
if
Sunglasses
you're not already
Kid.
Following
Follow
Sunglasses Kid on TikTok and Instagram. You should do that.
Yep. And you play live too.
Not Dream Kid, not Popcorn Kid, not Ferrari Kid, Sunglasses Kid.
Or if you're in the UK, you might, be lucky enough to see him play live. I know you have played the occasional live gig.
I have. I'm very much kind of remain fluid to invitations to play live. I don't proactively seek it, but if there's the right time and the right place, and also I will just do a little plug for my good friend Mr. Ollie Ride. He is playing in the Troubadour.
Incredible
June.
show.
I forget the date. I think it's this
June
16th?
20. I think it's June. June 16th. I think.
Yeah, we'll probably end up announcing it because we do have our
little live event show.
Yeah,
I also mentioned it because I will be in Los Angeles on a part music business / holiday venture, and I will be at that show. So I'll,
of course you will.
Love to meet and see some of my American brethren.
Awesome.
Yep.
That is awesome.
Do you know if Michael Oakley's going? Because I know he just got back from Neon down in Florida, but I think he's got an interest in seeing his buddy Ollie play at the Troubadour. So
I do not know, but if I speak to him, I will let you know.
There you go. I might be seeing him tomorrow night.
Well, aren't we special?
Well, yeah, aren't I special? Supposed to go for dinner with him and Dana.
Well, there you go, Mr.
Poor Andy misses out because now he's living in the middle of nowhere.
Rubbing elbows with the elites.
Yeah, but yes, Mr. Kidd, we have to thank you again. It was such an honor to have you on the show.
Thanks very much.
And we'll let you get back to
making
sexy
time music.
Sweet erotic late night vibes.
Right, scrambled porn and the soundtrack that goes with it.
Glorious.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Take care. All right, Jules, what do we got here? We got some album releases we're going to dive into. I know we got some amazing stuff that just got released.
We're going to blast through some things because it is 8 o'clock.
My dog is barking. My
cat's looking at me like, where's my dinner?
He's like,
where's my insulin?
Yo,
where's
bitch,
this? Where's
where's
that?
my food? Where's my insulin? Yeah, it's definitely time to pivot.
Sunglasses Kid, that was cool.
That was totally cool. I'm totally stoked. So let's talk about some albums that have come out. And who wants to start it all? You just want to read them all down? And
I'll kick it off with
Chipmunk style it.
Let's see. On the April 28th, Aztec Records released their 4th volume of Pure Retro Wave. So if you want a nice anthology compilation of nice retro wave from the Aztec artists, there you go.
Indeed. April 29th, Chill Collins, the Dark Star Anthology is rushing to play a song by him next. So stay tuned for that. And of course, Lavenue with Club Tropez, which we just played a track from that as well. So very good.
And let's see, May 1st, which was a couple of days ago, the single that we kind of started the show off with, New Arcades and Droid Bishop with Severed.
Yeah.
New single. And an artist called Deadlift.
Did you change that? You changed that on the script, didn't you?
I did not.
Oh, like
Deadlift.
Wait a minute.
Deadlift.
Anyways,
Deadlife has a new single out on New Retrowave Records called Ardent Surge.
Yeah. May 2nd, which is that today?
Yesterday? That was yesterday.
Yesterday? Yeah. What's days? I don't know. Apphachrome Yayo hit us with a sneak album. Like, where does this come from out of nowhere? He's famous for those sneak albums. It's called Hidden Earth. It's kind of like a little new age kind of thing, so I dig that. And Cyber Thing came out with Cold Shell, the original game soundtrack. He did the soundtrack for the game Cold Shell, which is a pretty cool, it's like a top-down, beat-em-up, kind of like in the style of Miami, Hotline Miami kind of thing. And
I love those kind of games.
Yeah.
Pure, simple, and fun.
Yeah.
Let's see, May 5th, which is Friday, All the Damn Vampires is coming up with a new album called Retro Future Soundscape. As well, Aztec artist Coastal has an album or a single called Heartbeats coming out?
Heartbeats. I don't know.
and of course, Church of Trees, which I believe is from Ottawa, my neck of the woods.
Oh, there you go.
Has something out called coming out called Courage.
Awesome. And last but not least, we have May 25th, Bunny X coming out with their album. It's called Love Minus 80, I believe. And
I think this is their last album.
I heard that. I hope that's not true, because I love seeing those ladies put out all these wonderful songs, which we're going to play a song by them as well. In fact, we're going to do a double shot. We're going to do Chill Collins with his track called The Calling, and then we're going to do a little Bunny X and Don Delapero with
I see what you and Chill did there, by the way. Chill Collins, The Callin'.
I didn't even. You know what? You picked up on that. I didn't even pick up on that, but you have a lot more smarts than I do. But yeah, apparently, I guess he's leaning into the Colin thing. I don't know. It's a concept album. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually for a comic book, and the comic book's cool. It's all about AI and future things and cyberpunk. We were
speaking to him about that when we had him on the show.
Yeah. So,
by the way, a quick shout out, because we're also going to hear a track from our friends Thought Beings. They're in the IRC chat.
Oh, what?
So a little bit later, we're going to hear a Thought
Orion's
Beings
track.
in the chat? Yep.
I wonder if Lemon's in the chat. Lemon. Hi, Lemon.
She's probably she's stalking, probably.
I love Lemon. I wanted to get Lemon and Orion on the show. And in fact, they have they're getting quite the little group together. I know, there's more members. It's not just those two. They have a wonderful ensemble. We would love to have the ensemble of Thought Beings on the show again. We had them a couple years ago, and they were wonderful people. Well, we had Orion, and he was very wonderful. And we're trying to get Lemon, if you can hear us.
Lemon!
We love you.
Also a quick shout out to Corto and Yargle VA.
Ooh, very nice.
YouTube chats.
All right, we've rambled on long enough. Let's give you guys some more synthwave. Double shot coming up for you. We're gonna bang you with twofers each time now, just to kind of get these songs out there. We're gonna bang the hell out of you. And this is a little tune by Chill Collins called "The Calling," right here on Night Ride FM. And that was Bunny X and Don Delapero with Love is in Empire. Yeah, I dig
love
that.
When they pair up, it's always a good time.
It's so dreamy, man. It's so dreamy. I love it. It's good stuff.
Let's keep banging people here. You got me saying it.
Freudian
All right,
slip.
We're gonna rattle off some birthdays, and then we're gonna play the latest track by Thought Beings.
Indeed. And we need to recover. Birthdays in the house. We have a birthday, May 1st.
You can kick it off.
Yeah.
Kick it off.
Bangulo?
Yeah.
Bangulo. Bangulo.
May 1st.
I don't know. Are they a producer?
Yeah, he's a producer. Yeah.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, he's been around for 3, 4, 5
See,
years, I think. Yeah.
shows what I know. Strappy on May 3rd. Happy birthday, Strappy.
That's today, yeah.
My
Happy
man.
birthday to Strappy.
Yeah, you're the
I
man.
finally got to meet him.
Strappy's great. We love Strappy. Everyone should have a Strappy friend named Strappy. You want to read some?
Sure. Let's see. Starcourt, who used to be part of Knight Rider 87.
Yeah.
Now going his own way. His birthday is tomorrow, May 4th. And also Adam from Blacklight is celebrating her birthday tomorrow. Oh, one more. Kaylin Squirrel from Von Kaiser celebrates a birthday tomorrow.
Another person we met at Neon.
Yeah.
Speaking of Neon, May 5th. Happy birthday.
From Down Under, I believe.
Yeah. Cody Carpenter, May 7th. Happy birthday to Cody Carpenter.
A.K.A. Ludrium.
Yeah. Happy birthday to Travis from User.
Yeah, that's User's right-hand man.
Really? I didn't know he had a partner
Yeah.
in his project.
Yeah, when he plays live and stuff, I think Travis plays with him.
Oh, very good, very good. Yeah, we got two more, right, Jules?
All right, let's see. I'll do this one. Monsieur Absolute Valentine celebrating a birthday May 8th.
Oh, yeah.
You can be doing the last one there.
All right, we have Adam Force. Happy birthday. May 9th is their birthday, so happy birthday to Adam Force. We appreciate you and being part of the Synth Fam, which you may or may not be part of the Synth Fam. I don't know.
Producer as
Is
well.
he?
By the way, quick shout out to our buddy Craig Packman, who has joined us in the chat. I guess it's early enough in the morning now, or late enough in the morning. He's awake.
Oh, that's right.
Over
He's
in
awake.
Perth, Australia.
Yep.
Yeah.
Doing his thing out on the... I think he drives, right? I think he's a driver.
Yep.
Very cool.
Oh, and quick shout out to Media Queenes over the YouTubes.
Very nice. I hope we're not talking too much for the YouTubers out there. We love you guys. Thank you so much for listening. We're going to get you back with some more music. In fact, we're going to dive right into this track right here. Orion was kind enough to send me a wonderful assortment of tracks. We picked this one. I love this new sound. I love the new sound that they're going with. This is Thought Beings, of course, and always something new and fresh and fun with those guys. So I really dig this. It's kind of like at that funk, that Parliament, almost like a Parliament funk, where like, you just got a couple guys just like laying on a corner and like, just saucing it up and just jamming out on some street instruments and just yelling back and forth at each other. Like it's got a vibe. I really dig it. And so we're gonna go into this.
By the way, I want to just Thought Beings, aka Orion, let us know that they are a trio now, not a duo.
Trio. So we're gonna get the whole trio.
Orion, Lemon, and Amos.
Yes, you guys are all welcome to come on the show. We would love to have you guys on, and no pressure to have Lemon on. No pressure. We do love her, but even if it's just Orion, that's cool too, because we jam. We're jamming like that. And speaking of jamming, we're gonna play this jam, which is called Hallucinate, and it's right here on Night Ride FM. Enjoy.
There's so much more to life than what we're told. There's so much more, there's so much more. Another realm to get to know. Hallucinating from the view outside the window.
And that was Thought Beings with Hallucinate. I love that tune, man. That is like my jam.
Dude, that bass at the beginning, that slap.
It's just
my ass is hurting now.
It's an ass slapping song, man. I just love it. Like, and the hook. I love the mixture of the funk and like the little glistening hooky, hook.
Glittering.
Yeah,
it's the glittering part. That's Thought Beings.
Yeah, of course.
You can usually tell it's a Thought Beings track if there's some little glitter.
A little gleam. And yeah, good stuff. We have some more songs coming up, but hold on 1 second here. We have something coming in. This just in. What is this?
Ooh.
The synthwave label Fixed. I know those guys. They've revealed one of the 4 individuals will be. They revealed that 1 in 4 individuals will be affected by mental illness at some point in their lives. So it's kind of a PSA. With this in mind, the Fixed staff had decided to take action and create a Mental Health Matters t-shirt that aims to raise awareness while supporting a good cause. So they will be offering a Mental Health Matters shirt where $5 from each purchase. That's actually pretty good for t-shirts.
Yep.
They will go and they will be donated to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is the NAMI. Jules, those guys.
We recognize that name because we did an album.
We did an entire concept
massive
album where we gave away all of the proceeds to charity. So they're doing the same thing with these t-shirts. $5 from every purchase of this t-shirt goes to charity, and it's a mental health awareness charity. It's really cool. So they're calling on people to purchase a shirt and help spread the word on social media to promote mental health awareness. The organization is committed to ensuring that individuals struggling with mental health issues know that they matter and that their mental health is important. So that's cool, man. I dig that.
You know what?
I really like that.
So it's 1 in 4. I guarantee you, if it's not you yourself, it's somebody you know, family member, friend. Yeah, it is very prevalent. So, yeah, great cause.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month.
Exactly.
So if you have a friend who's struggling, Mental Health May, reach out to a friend right now, and you just say hi. Check in on your friends, and
how you doing, Dennis?
I'm good, man. I am very good.
Good.
So very good. It's a wonderful thing. Go out, support the cause, buy yourself a t-shirt. Take a picture, put it on social media, let people know that NAMI, as we like to call it in the circle, that they're doing wonderful things to spread awareness. So cool stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Moving along here, we have the tail end of the show here. We're going to talk about some touring and events. So, Jules, do you want to go ahead and kick off some of the shows that are happening all around the world?
Hells yeah. Let's see. Tomorrow, Palindrome's album launch. So Palindrome's over in the UK. They're going to be doing an album launch in London, England with themselves, Palindromes, as well as AUW and Infraviolet. And let's see, what else? May 6th, Neon Paradise. That's going down in Cologne, Germany with Aeronexus. And, this is still going on. It started in April 14th, going on till May 18th. Synth47 featuring TWRP and Magic Sword all around the United States.
I saw them, and they're amazing. Very, very good stuff. Let's talk about May 20th. We have San Junipero, NYC. That's New York City. With Morgan Willis coming over.
Man, Morgan Willis.
That's crazy. DJ Says by Valentine and Faith in a Glitch. That is in Brooklyn, USA. May 26th, we have VHS Vision, The Resurrection with Robert Parker and Wave Shaper. That is a sick lineup. That's in Stockholm, Sweden. Very good. So they're hometowns. And May 26th through August 26th, we have the Leather Terror Tour with Carpenter Brute, and they are touring Europe.
Yep.
So
you know what? I got to add one.
Yeah.
This is a big little tour. Time Cop 1983.
Oh yeah.
With Josh Daly. They're touring all around the States. Not Canada.
Not Canada.
Only the States. But that's going on September 12th to October 6th.
Yes, and June 16th is the Ollie Ride? Something like that? I believe so.
Yeah, at the Troubadour in LA, Ollie Ride.
So go check that out. We're all gonna
see a lot of fellow producers and fans there.
Yeah. And if you want all the details on all the synthwave events, you can go to nightride.fm/blog/synthwave events, synthwave events. Or you know what you can do, Jules? You can actually literally Google synthwave events, and you know what?
The first thing that pops up.
It's the first hit. The first hit. So that's pretty awesome. So way to go on your SEO, Mr. Neon Fox. Let's do another twofer. We're going to do two tracks, two banging producers here. This is Atex with Science.
Ooh, Atex.
And Viper Drive with Drift Rider.
Ooh, Viper Drive.
And I think this is a wonderful pairing of wonderful synthwave artists. Yeah. I think these guys are just on top of the game.
These guys hit hard.
They hit hard. They hit you in the good spots, in the good feels. So we're going to go ahead and drop it once again. Atex with Science, followed up by Viper Drive and Drift Rider. And then we're going to close out the show. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll get you some more tunes and keep you guys moving out there. Here it is, right here on Night Ride FM.
side several times.
And that was Drift Rider by Viper Drive, along with the wonderful Atex with Science.
Oh, those two guys, man.
I love
Those songs, so high energy.
Just hammering it home. And speaking of hammering it home, we are getting ready to hammer it home with our end of our show time. And thank you so much for listening, all the people that are still in the chat room. Lord Pigger, shout out to you, my friend, Mr. 3. We were just reminiscing on Neon Retrofest and how it really felt like synthwave camp, you know? It really felt like something special. If you guys get a chance to go to the next one, we highly recommend it. We had a blast. And speaking of having a blast, you can have a blast on our Discord. You can go to, discord.gg/synthwave to hop in our Discord. You can also check us out on Patreon if you guys want to give us some Patreon support, which is cool, always good. At
patreon.com/nightride.fm.
Yeah.
And I just want to say a thanks to Amy Veers that do Patreon.
Hey, Amy Veers, very nice. It's nice that we get, I think we have, people say all the time that synthwave is predominantly male, but I have met so many wonderful, I'm assuming, wonderful women that are in the scene and are totally into synthwave. I mean, I really feel like half the people I know that I'm really close friends with are all the lovely ladies out there. So it's great. It's something that is universal for everyone to enjoy. So anyway, thank you, Amy, for being a Patreon. You can also go to, what's our website?
thestateofsynth.com.
Yes. For anyone,
find all our episodes.
Yeah.
Our scripts, the scripts that we use, I think.
Sometimes,
Sometimes, because some of them we don't want to share.
Right. You get the scripts. You get the show scripts with all the information.
The show notes.
Not the written scripts for the stupid skits that we do, because nobody honestly wants to read those. But, it's great. You can also support us if you want to support the State of Synth directly. And we promise 100% all the money that we accrue from our Buy Us a Beer goes to buying beers.
Exactly.
For us, because we need to get our drink on every now and then, and that's just how we roll. That's okay. We thank you so much for the support. stateofsynth.com/something. You'll figure it out.
I just want to say, I like saying this. You can also find us on Sundays because we're syndicated.
Syndicated.
Sort of, yeah. Retro Hit Radio down in Kiwiland, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Yeah, retrohitradio.co.nz.
Yeah, that's very cool. And we thank you so much for supporting, even if you're just telling a friend to come check out the show. And that is a wonderful thing. We appreciate you doing all that wonderful stuff and showing up week after week, no matter how late it is. You guys are amazing. Shout out to Craig Packman and Desterian for being #1 listeners. And you guys are just wonderful people.
You can also find us on social media, The State of Synth. Just look for us. You'll see the logo. Follow our news. We'll let you know when we're airing a show.
And shout out to Lord Pigger. We're definitely going to have, I'm telling you, we have to get it all together. We have to get ourselves together. It's going to happen, man. It's going to happen.
And, and Yargle VA, I think he's going to get us a drink.
Nice!
But, anyways, I want to thank Sunglasses Kid for being on the show. That was awesome.
Ed
Cool
was
interview.
amazing. Totally professional. He's been in the game forever. He really has the experience to really just lay down some funky jams, and I can't wait. I gotta get on this TikTok thing. Everyone's getting on TikTok, and I get overwhelmed, but I know that's where the cool kids are, like Sunglasses Kid doing their thing, and I will have to just get on it more and I don't know, do whatever they do on that social media platform. They just scroll through things, videos of twerking and synthwave stuff, I guess, which is cool. So,
and with that, I think it's time to play everyone out with a last track. Kick Puncher just came out with a new album on New Retrowave called Beyond 2. Or no, it's Beyond, right? Yeah, Beyond. And, so we're going to play everyone out with a track from the album. From all of us right here at Night Ride FM, we want to wish you a good night. And this will be Kick Puncher with Showdown.
And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. We love you so much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.